From high above the Lake District in the northwest of England, the Old Man of Coniston looks timeless. A mountain shaped by ice and wind, standing alone against the sky. But as we look closer, something else reveals itself. Scars, terraces, lines cut into the rock where generations carved out a world beneath these slopes. And as I look down at those marks, I found myself wondering what it took, what it really meant to build a life from working within this mountain. Hidden on the eastern flank lie the remains of one of England's greatest slate workings, a place where entire chambers were hollowed out to the earth, where hundreds of men walked into the mist each morning. To shape stone into the roofs and walls of the world. This is Rails and Revolutions, the history that built us, the forces that shaped us. Out here above Coniston, the air feels different. Sharp, metallic. Carrying echoes of a world I'm only beginning to understand. And today we're going down into that world, into the dark tunnels where generations spent their working lives, shaping a mountain from the inside out, into the spaces where their tools still rest, their walls still stand, and their stories still cling to the rock. The climb starts gently, but it doesn't stay that way. Even now, with good boots and a clear path, it's hard not to think about the men who did this every day. Climbing into the wind and rain with a full shift of heavy manual labour still ahead of them. As the path turns, the whole valley suddenly reveals itself. A sweep of rock and ruin dropping away beneath us. Down there is where Coniston's copper story played out. A completely different world of shafts and ore and water wheels. And just above the old copper workings, the landscape changes again. From the high corrie of Lever's water, a waterfall spills down the rock. It's a reminder that everything here, every mine and every scar, existed under the shadow of this mountain's own power. But the water isn't our destination. Our path pulls higher onto the open flank of the Old Man. This is where the real climb begins. The mines we're heading for sit far above the copper workings and the valley floor, more than 2,000 feet above sea level. As we make our way up to the platform, something catches the eye. A thick steel cable stretching down the mountain, disappearing over the edge. Once used to carry slate from the heights of the fell down to the valley below. Seeing it now, tangled and broken, feels like looking at a memory the mountain is slowly taking back. Further up, an enormous wall supports a vast waste tip. And on top of it sits the first of the buildings we come across from the days of the mines. A whole platform built from the mountain's cast-offs. raised higher and higher by generations of men working the slate veins above. The rails lie twisted and bowed, warped by decades of weather, and stretch out across the tip, leading off into the abyss below, as if the mountain itself is swallowing them. Standing here, I can't help imagining the noise, the urgency this place once held, and how strange it is to stand in the quiet they never knew. Beside them, within the crumbled walls of an old building, a winch still clings to the rubble, silent and immovable, a relic of the machinery that once moved tons of slate across this precious platform. It's the first real sign that this mountain wasn't just climbed, it was shaped, layer by layer, platform by platform, long before we arrived. The first slate was cut here in the late 1500s, but it was the 18th and 19th centuries that transformed Coniston into a hive of industry. Veins of blue-grey stone ran through these hills, slate that would roof homes, schools and churches across Britain. To really understand this place and the people who carved it, we need to walk into the mountain and see what they saw. To step into the world they built, sometimes at the cost of their very lives. To reach it, men dug deep into the mountain, linking tunnels and inclined planes to tramways that wound down the valley. From there, the railway carried the stone to the wider world. After another agonizing climb from the platform, we finally arrived at the first of the old slate mines. Outside, the remains of buildings cling to the edge of the tips, weathered and leaning into the wind. Rails stretch out from the buildings and disappear over the edge of the tips, guiding the eye and the imagination down into the abyss where the slate once tumbled towards the valley. Even now, it's easy to picture the men hauling, sliding and lifting day after day, high above the world below. To truly understand the lives of the slate miners, we'll need to step into their world, a place of darkness, weight, and hard-won skill. This is where generations of men spent their days extracting stone with nothing but hand tools and determination. It's a world of silence, sweat, and craftsmanship. And in a moment, we'll be exploring it ourselves to see the mountain they carved. But first, I need to dress more appropriately. And this is where their world began. The first opening feels like a threshold, not just into darkness but into someone else's life. As the light fades, the temperature drops and the silence settles around me. I feel the mountain pressing closer, every echo, every drip of water. Feels like it belongs to another time. This is where generations spent their lives carving beauty from bedrock by candlelight. And stepping into it, I realised how little I truly understood what work meant for them. Each tool mark is a signature, a reminder that hands once shaped this place with nothing but strength and stubbornness. And when we find the old ladders, soft with age, something shifts. They're simple things, but being in their presence, I feel a physical connection to the men who trusted their lives to wood and skill alone. And then I come across a turntable. It still rotates. A tiny miracle in the darkness. And soon we reach the vast terminal wall. In this cathedral of rock, time feels suspended. Standing here, I realise that for all the danger and hardship, these places weren't just workplaces. They were proof of what human perseverance could create, even in the loneliest corners of the earth. As we leave the darkness behind and step back into daylight, the scale of this place hits you all over again. You realise just how remote this mountain really is. It's a landscape that feels ancient, powerful. Outside the entrance sits a compressed air tank, rusted. It's a small detail, but it hints at something waiting inside. This is a glimpse of the machinery, the effort, and the ingenuity that once powered an entire world hidden beneath this mountain. Gingerly, I enter the second level of this mine, said to be the entrance to the main complex, where something special apparently awaits. As we proceed, I see for the first time at this complex deads, waste rock that the miners did not get paid to remove, so left as walls inside the mine, perhaps from when the operation was a smaller scale. Once again we enter a cathedral-like cavern. In the flash of torches ahead, something appears from the darkness. Towards the rear of the chamber, we see a rare survivor. A steam winch from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. Protected by its remote location. Beyond the winch, we enter a vast chamber. The camera cannot do this place justice, but its ceiling rises 130 feet up, showing the huge efforts men were willing to go to survive at this time. Further up, we come to the last level explored this day. Outside, we find yet another winch, this time operating the aerial ropeway, whose collapsed towers still remain. After entering this one and finding yet more decayed ladders that once carried the miners and their hopes and fears up and down in this mine, it's not long before it opens up, and to our amazement, on the left is a wooden water tank, still after all these years holding water and still being supplied with water, as if it still expects the miners to return. Beyond the tank, the mountain opens up in front of us, revealing once again the heart of this mine complex. Walking into this chamber hits harder than I expected. My head torch barely scratches the darkness, and for a moment the space feels endless. And this time we're over 70 feet higher than when we first entered. From this vantage point, I can see how the tunnels and levels connect, how the mountain was reshaped from the inside out. It makes it feel like we're finally standing on the threshold of the mountain's true heart. For the people of Coniston and Timberthwaite, the mines were everything. Work, survival, community. Paydays filled the inns with laughter and song. When the market fell, hunger followed. By the late 1800s, cheaper imports and mechanisation elsewhere began to take their toll. The mountain that once sustained them slowly fell silent. Today, these mountains bear the marks of all that labour. Scars that tell of Britain's hunger for progress and the human cost behind it. The mines have been reclaimed by moss and water, but their story still runs deep. In every slate roof glinting in the rain, there's a fragment of this place and of the people who once made their living inside it. When you walk these paths, it's easy to forget how much of this piece was once built on noise and struggle. But the revolution that shaped this landscape hasn't disappeared. It's just gone quiet. And as the wind moves across these ridges, I carry something new with me. An understanding that landscapes aren't just places. They're stories. And some of them, like this one, still echo long after the last voices fade.